What does it mean to be holy? What does it mean to live a holy life? Holy is one of those words that's either we hear in church or we hear it when people are cursing, right? And sometimes we can just use the word without really thinking actually what it means, right? Holiness is something specifically that describes God most fully. God is holy in the sense that he is other, that he is transcendent, that he is set apart, that he is gooder and greater than we are. And the word holy is used to describe that difference from us. But when this holy God comes and begins making the world new, certain things in creation can also be described as holy, in the sense of being set apart for God and becoming filled with his holiness. Right? We read in the scriptures that places can be holy, that peoples can be holy. Right? Israel was called a holy nation. And individuals, people, can be holy. That the word that we often hear, saints, comes from that root of the word holy. It's describing the same phenomenon. It's a people who are set apart for God and are becoming filled with his goodness. Now, sometimes when we use the word holy, one of the things that comes along with that word is sort of a pejorative sense of, oh, holier than thou, right? Like a religious snootiness, like you're better than me or something like that. And that's not the idea at all. A better way to think about it is holy. Being a holy person fundamentally means being whole, becoming the people we were made and meant to be. To become a holy person is to become more fully human, not less so, but more so. Now, there's a couple different ways in which we are holy, a couple different ways that we live into this wholeness and fullness when we trust in Christ. One is that we are holy in the present just by trusting in what God has done through Christ in the power of the Spirit. We are a people who are set apart for God, no matter how we're able to live into the fullness of that life in our current experience. This becomes really clear to me in the New Testament in Paul's letters to the Corinthians. Right? Corinth was an absolute mess of a city, and the Corinthian church was an absolute mess of a church. If you read those letters, Paul is saying over and over again, hey, we could be doing this better, we could be doing this better, we could be doing this better. But in the introductions to each of those letters, he calls the Corinthians, just because they've trusted in Christ, a holy people. They have been set apart for God. And there's a great freedom in that. That no matter how well we feel like we're doing in our relationship with God or in the transformation he gives, we are holy. We are set apart. We have been made right with him just because of what he's done. That's the way he sees us. We are clean. We are pure before him. But there's also this reality that we are becoming holy, right? We are becoming a people who are able to live more and more into his goodness, into his love, which is so other than the way that we would naturally live. Now, this gets laid out in a couple different ways in the scriptures, right? One is what Jesus says, right? Is at the center of what it means to live in God's ways, right? What are the two great commandments? To love God and to love others. That, to be able to live into that, would be a holy life. That's what it means to become holy. I believe it was Augustine who said, love God, love others, and do what you will. Because if those things are there, then everything that comes out is going to have the savor of God's life. But there's also some needed definition to that. What does it mean to love God? What does it mean to love others? The Ten Commandments have been a classic sort of summation in the first part of what it means to love God and the second part of what it means to love others. In the New Testament, that it's expanded probably most fully in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5-7. And when you read the Sermon on the Mount, you start to realize, oh, this picture I've got in my head of what a holy person looks like is a little bit different. A holy person loves their enemies, right? A holy person knows how to walk in their sexuality in love and not in selfishness. A holy person knows how to walk in anger such that it doesn't harm others. It's a beautiful picture of life as the way it's meant to be. And one day, of course, we'll experience that life to the full. We will be holy. We will be free from everything that keeps us from the fullness of that holy life that he offers us, from that fullness of humanity, that wholeness that he really desires for us. And that will be a beautiful day, I think even beyond our imagining of what that might look like at this point. But it's actually inevitable. Not because we can achieve it, but because he gives it to us out of love. Because he wants us to know what it means to be fully human. He wants us to know what it means to be holy. And he's done everything necessary to bring us there.